And we are live. So, welcome back to another installment of the Authority Hour, where Ronnie and I are chronicling our processes, respectively, of building our own digital authority to build our businesses and to build meaningful relationships, because that is ultimately the result of having digital authority, is that you're able to really cultivate those meaningful relationships that are fruitful. So, with that, Ronnie, when you think about this week in total, what would you say has been your biggest takeaway or lesson learned?
My biggest lesson learned this week is we're talking about growing. My topic is on growing my business. I have to be able to resist, inserting myself into the how things get done, and doesn't have to be done exactly how I want it to be done. I feel like I have smarter people around me than me, and I need to find a better way of just articulating what I want that result to look like. And that way, they can use all of their brain power to figure out the best possible solution for the company. And it does not have to involve me dictating the whole thing. That's what I've been working on. And it's a tough one for me.
Yeah. No, I've had some of that as well. Like, I am my own worst enemy, and this week was another kind of face-to-face encountering of that, which, you know, doing the entrepreneurial thing, it's tough, man. It's lonely. It's um it takes a lot to really remain your best self throughout all of the ups and downs. And yeah, no, it's definitely a process to just continue. It's like, when I think about coming from my background in consulting, when I was helping my clients through the firm that I work for, I didn't have the responsibility of everything else. All that
It
I
cuts
had to
off
do
at
was
5 o'clock, it cuts off.
right, right. So I could show up and do my consulting thing, my passion piece, the part that I absolutely love, and that just be, just be it. And now it's everything that I'm coaching my clients on. So when my day ends from engaging with my clients in their businesses, my day begins with engaging in my own business of getting myself out the way. And it is it's a constant balancing act, my brother.
That's a very good point, my friend. I feel the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that helps to bridge the gap in that is by having the right brand authority that is working in the background even when we aren't working. So, speaking to that, a big piece of having any form of authority, whether it be digital or in person, trust is at the foundation of that authority. So, from your perspective, what role has having building trust with folks, with people, played in you evolving as an entrepreneur?
I think I'm in the business of trust. In my business, we provide you, the consumer, with the second largest purchase that you make in your life. Now, you may do it multiple times, but outside of a house, for most of us, the vehicle is the second largest purchase that you'll make in your life. So we've always been in a high trust field, and building trust with people is very difficult. You have to earn that trust. It cannot be just given. Other people find themselves in the same place, or like financial planners, like our buddy Matt, Matt's not like, hey, I need $50. Matt's like, I need your life savings. He's a financial planner. So like, if I'm going to transfer all of my stuff to him, that's everything I've done in my life. That's a very high level of trust that you have to have. Same thing in my business, same thing in real estate agents. And I would say your business as well. Like, if you're dealing with business owners,
without a doubt,
what are we sitting here? This is my baby. You want me to give you my baby? Like, this is the thing I've been working on for 30 years. Yes. I mean, if you don't have any trust, we have nothing to talk about. Like, it's a dead stop, man. There's no business.
Bruh, so that's yes, that's the point right there. For me, without trust, there is absolutely no business at all. Because to your point, a person's business is their child. I know mine is. Like Bullseye Consulting, this is my baby. I birthed this out of my ambition, out of my heart, out of my spirit, right? Yeah. Like this is my baby, and I treat it as such. So in order for someone to like actually process and implement the information that we discuss relative to their business, or for us to even be able to have a conversation about their business, because like we don't just have any old conversation with any old body about our kids. Like we talk about our kids with people that we trust. Like we may have surface level conversations, like, I have 2 daughters and how old that they are and stuff like that. But yeah, the actual, down to the crux of what's going on with our kids, we're not talking with any old body about that. So the same thing applies when it comes to the business, right? Like we can't talk about the financial reports if the person on the other side of the table don't trust me.
There's a lot to it, dude. Like, and all of our businesses too. Like, it's a very scary thing to have to tell the truth. I sit down with you, Jesse, and I'm like, hey, here's our P&L statement. Now I'm giving you that, and I've been telling you we're doing fine. Everybody says, how you doing? How's business? Have you ever had somebody, it sucks, I'm gonna be out of business tomorrow? Like, nobody says that. Everything's great, man. Like, we've all been trained to, you need to think positive. Everything's great. But when you sit down with me and we're like, let's look at the P&L, Ronnie, it could be, if I don't have trust, it's a difficult conversation to have, or I just don't want to show it to you because I don't trust you with this information. So that's why that matters. Same thing in my business. Like, it's time to get the approval done. I need all the data. I need the information so I can get this over to the credit union and get your approval. I have to ask you questions that may be sometimes uncomfortable. Why is this going on? What happened here? Like, it's okay. It's a safe place, but we have to build that trust and build a safe place with our potential clients and our clients so that they trust us with that information and know that we're not going to use it against them. Yeah, I could talk about this all day. I think this is a great topic. Why does trust matter?
Right. Absolutely.
It's a simple answer, because no money is being spent without trust. That's a simple answer.
Absolutely. So it's like, and like that's the third part of the equation when we're talking about the know, like, and trust factors that are quintessential to the exchange of commerce.
Yeah.
Right. Like we gotta know about each other, or what it is that we provide, and like it enough to have invested enough of our time to do our due diligence and research and as we do that due diligence and research, it's like, oh man, based on all of these different things, I can trust that you are gonna deliver accordingly. So it's absolutely critical.
So we understand why it matters, right?
Yeah, right.
And I guess we're moving to this topic now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how do we actually build that trust? Yes. Yes.
Digitally, obviously you do a good job, but like, how do you do it consistently on the internet consistently?
Right. And for me, when I think about the conversations that you and I have had and how long that you've been on this journey, as AI is really kind of bursting onto the scene and causing disruption while creating opportunity, one of the long-term disrupting factors that we're just going to kind of evolve through as a people is everybody can come across as a subject matter expert these days because the information is readily available.
An internet guru.
So by leveraging, by leveraging AI, you can present yourself as a credible source, to a certain degree, right?
Yes.
Well, for you, going back to 2018, when people go look at your older content, they can see that you've been that dude before AI was publicly accessible.
I never thought about that. You just said it, but yeah, I was doing videos before AI. Yeah.
So there's credibility, like there's trust. There's a certain trust factor that comes along with that for people to know that you've been talking this talk before you had those additional resources that helps to polish said talk.
I think it's important to tell people too, Jesse, that this building digital trust just gets you in the door. Like, it's not really like, none of us are saying today that you build this digital trust, you're going to sell all your stuff. No, it's just another layer. Like, and we all, everybody that's watching this, everybody in the room now knows this to be true intrinsically, just based on what you do. If you go to Amazon and you're looking for something, oh, that's what I want to buy. Then you go scroll down a little bit. Dang, 5,000 one-star reviews. And you're getting ready to press buy now. And if you don't hesitate, then I don't know if we can be friends. You got 5,000 one-star reviews. I'm not saying I'm not going to buy it if I really need it, but I'm like, I think I'm going to need to read up on this, man. Like, this is a body of work right here. 5,000 one-star reviews. I may be an idiot for buying this, but on the other way, if it's 5,000 five-star reviews, it reduces friction. That's an Amazon term. How do they reduce friction? So friction is what stops me from pressing the button. 5,000 5 stars, no friction. I'm just like, oh yeah, doom, I'm done. I don't need to think about it anymore. Especially when it's in a price, it's not a $50,000 car, but like, I'm buying something that I'm gonna lotion or what, who knows? But it reduces friction. So that digital presence builds trust and reduces friction between you and your potential client.
100%. Now, speaking to the friction that comes from reviews in particular, because I can't even recall the amount of conversations that I've had with business owners that they received a less than stellar review on Google. And,
raise your hand. I got one. Yeah.
And then they mind the world is ended. Like, how do I get this down? What do I do about this? And it's like, reply to it. That's what you do. Yeah. Like, reply to it. Because the reality is, I know for myself, when I'm searching for a solution to a problem that I've had that a business is going to solve for me, and I see nothing but 5-star reviews, that's a bit of a red flag to me personally, because I know, like, I know that there's a game that a lot of folks play where they're paying for reviews and doing a bunch of different things to kind of cook the books. So I gravitate more toward a company that has some, other ratings besides just the top, because what I'm looking for is, like, we already know that people can be jerks. So just because there's a negative review, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's an accurate reflection on the lack of service that they were provided. Like, they may just be that type of person. and we know that. So through reading the whatever that the review is, if it's negative in nature, like what are they saying? Are they actually saying something legitimate, or are they is it just grievance where they just out there being negative just to be negative? And you can see that through what they're saying. So by the owner then responding back to that same kind of misplaced feedback, when I'm looking at that, I'm saying, okay, they were dealing with a jerk and they still handled it with the utmost class and professionalism.
And did it get resolved?
Right. Exactly.
I guess Amazon's a bad example because they'll say 5,000 5 stars, but then it'll also say 3,000 sold this month. And I feel like an idiot for not buying it. I'm like, I'm going to be the only one not buying it. Like, I need to push the button. But Amazon has taken it to a different level, man. Like I bought these, you remember those hoverboards?
Mm-hmm.
For the kids, they're wheels on the ground. It wasn't, Back to the Future. But I bought some for my kids, and it was this company out of China. And I bought it on Amazon, right? And it was like early adopter of these things. Had the kids run around the neighborhood in them. And one of them stopped working for some reason. And I went and called the company that made them, and it was a disaster. It was like, you are never getting your money back. And then I remembered, bro, you bought these on Amazon. So I went click, click. New one came in the mail with a box to send the old one back. Just like that. They always reduce friction. Like they reduce it. But it was fascinating. So I will actually look for that specifically. If it's somebody selling it, you have a company I'm looking to buy it from. I'm like, I'm going to buy it from Amazon. Because they have built digital trust with me that is far exceeds anything that any other company has done. So I don't even need to look at the other company. Amazon's repping it, I'm straight. Fulfilled by Amazon, I'm good.
And that right there is a golden nugget within itself, because the challenge that comes with an Amazon or Walmart or any of the larger retailers, when we spend with them, a good portion of that spending is going to exit the community immediately. Whereas when we're investing in the small businesses at the community level, that stays in the community because we're employing the community directly. We're paying taxes locally. We're, having the opportunity to interface with different nonprofits and organizations that support, different societal priorities. So as a small business owner, we have to contend with exactly what you just described, which is a big brand like Amazon already understands the value of reducing friction. So they have strategically aligned themselves so that friction is removed, and it almost makes it not make sense to just go straight to Amazon, because everything that you need is right there. And if there's an issue with it, it's a systematic process that's going to resolve it pretty quickly.
They're selling cars,
bruh. They selling medicine. They selling everything. Like I we'll see what happens from like a monopolistic perspective if that needs to be broken up at some point, because it does create an unfair disadvantage in the overall market. But
how do you feel about the 2,000 people they employ here in town and the taxes they pay? What's the difference?
Yeah. I mean, all of the entities serve their purpose, right? So it's necessary for the companies to come in and because when I think about small towns, Colorado Springs isn't the greatest example of like a real small town. I've been to some really small towns doing the consulting thing, where it's like it's one plant that is the primary economic engine for that town. So for those, that is an immense investment back to the community, bringing those jobs. So like we got a symbiotic relationship between the larger companies versus the small companies, and it's our responsibility as citizens to strike that balance. That's my perspective on it. Like we need both. But my point in speaking to the small business owner in particular is to understand that the larger big box has already planned for that friction and all of those things. So if we really want to compete as a small business, then we got to put things in place to reduce that friction, right? So like your point is critically important to, if by Amazon having the the friction reduction is going to cause someone to say, I'm not even going to consider this small business because it's just so much more convenient for me to go here, then how do we make ourselves more of an attractive option so that they think twice before they just blindly commit themselves to Amazon?
Yeah, I was talking about things that are, household goods, stuff like that, or, I don't know a business that makes hoverboards. I mean, but like here's my answer. Focus on the pain points you solve and bring that to the masses in digital format. For me, so this is a great topic because I could never compete. When I opened the doors of my business, it was not intended to compete with the dealership structure. I'm a car dealer. And I want to make that clear. When I opened my doors 26 years ago, I had no intention of competing with the dealership down the street. They are not my competition at all. I don't solve that pain point of my client's purchasing journey. I have nothing to do with it. So I think that's where, when you're talking about this, how do you compete with Amazon or Walmart? Walmart was the hot topic back when, when in my hometown a long time ago. But the thing is, it's like, if you're going to solve for the same thing Amazon solves for, good luck. So think about it. That's exactly what I said 26 years ago. How am I going to compete just like every other dealership? And back then I was like, Amazon and Walmart figure this out, but they have a lot of money. Like when you control all the products, you can actually dictate the pricing.
Right.
I don't see myself being in that position, nor do I have that dream to be in that position. So I had to go find another way to compete for business that I could actually serve. Does that make sense?
100%. 100%. Yes.
So that's the answer. And then you got to do it nowadays. You got to do it digitally. You got to put that answer out there every day.
And that's the point. Like consistently doing it, because even with all of the AI that's happening right now, there's a certain group of folks that they've been following you for a while, so they know what you about. And it's a certain group of folks that know me and they know what I'm about. What the digital authority gives us the ability to do is for there to be a repository of, confirmation that I am who I say I am. Like you can go back and see that I've been who I say that I am. And the reason that I'm saying that is for those that have not committed themselves to building a digital authority, there's no better time than now to begin, because the AI is going to continue to make it difficult for us to discern real from fake.
No better time, man. And it's getting, dude. So the next little, excuse me, bullet point says it takes time. You're right. You got to start now. The best time to plant a tree was 25 years ago. The next best time is right now, today. Because waiting for the right time, I find to be fascinating. It's the same method I use when it comes to investing money. I wish I would have started 50 years ago. Started a long time ago, but planting that tree and watching it grow over time is much more fruitful than trying to time the market or figure out if you're going to time the market, I think you just should probably go to Vegas. You know, like just go put it all on black and see what happens. You know, like I find that to be a very difficult way to live personally. Like I'm like, dude, we got to start digging, and we got to dig often, and we got to dig as long as we can. So the question that would come up, right? Like it's easy to say that, like, yeah, it takes time. You got to do it consistently forever with no money. Jesse, how do you answer the question to the business owners or the people like, hey, this is going to work? You know, I think people like doing stuff they know it's going to work. And it's got to be more than me just saying, hey, this is a proven concept. It's going to work if you do it. But how do you show them the results? Like, hey, doing this is going to lead to this, guaranteed, eventually.
Right.
How do you give people hope and understanding on this work you're doing is not in vain? It's going to work out. What would be your answer to that?
By showing them proof of concept. So every authority figure, person that we look at as an authority figure, when you rewind back to the beginning of their journey, and we've spoken about it on this program before.
Yeah.
Like their content was probably, you know,
garbage.
Less than, you know what I mean? Like it had a lot of opportunity, but guess what? They kept going and going and going. And over time, like we eventually, as a larger society, gravitated towards them as an authority figure. We started to see them as an authority figure because they continued to show up. If they didn't continue to show up, then they wouldn't be in the position. So I know Gary Vee is one of the guys that you follow.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like there.
Like we can use Gary Vee as an example. If when we rewind back to Gary Vee's humble beginnings and the liquor store that his family owns, or that industry that they operate in, and he just gradually over time, he just kept showing up and providing value, kept showing up and providing value. And now Gary Vee is Gary Vee. Right. And Gary Vee is a variable to a larger point, because like you can choose any person that has influence. And when you rewind back, it started from very humble beginnings.
Yeah.
So we got to get started. And once we get started, we got to keep going. And when we have our adversity, we got to endure.
Yeah.
Like keep going. The proof is in the pudding. Like there are countless examples. So that would be, I would take them to show them, look, that didn't just happen for Gary Vee. It was a process. Yeah. And if you listen to enough of his content, he'll tell you that his process, it didn't just happen overnight.
Right. Yeah. How about you? No argument for me. I mean, I'm living proof of it as well. It's like, dude, like it's going to work if you work it. And if you find something that you love about it and you get it done. But, you know, consistency is, it just all goes back to one word: discipline.
Right. And it's real, because you and I have been doing this for a few weeks now. I have other digital content that's coming out on my different platforms as well. And those numbers are nothing to be like proud of. Like it's the process, right? Like I have to build the content. I got to build the muscle memory. I just got to keep on going. And I recognize that if I allowed the current stats that my content is generating to govern my actions now, we wouldn't be talking right now.
You know, it's a great point. I think that I'll articulate the question a little bit differently. Like in our BNI chapter, right? I've been in the chapter 19 years. I generate an awful lot of revenue from that chapter. But when you meet a new member, those numbers don't mean anything to the new member. I've been doing this 19 years. Here's all of my results. They can't put themselves in that embodiment, right? But they still are required to do the work for very low numbers so I'm just like, I don't even expect you really to have an answer. It's just, what do you think? Like, how could we come up with a way to help people understand that this is going to work out, when we know just showing them the data or looking at the results that we've had are going to matter? Because people, you know, they're like, that's Ronnie. Like I can't do that. Or that's Jesse. I can't do that. Like, it's been when we induct members into the chapter, is a common conversation. Like, I think it's what matters to them. Like, these people have just mortgaged their home and invested in their business, and now they need it to work. And I'm like, dude, get on Facebook every day. Well, I'm not getting any leads. Get on Facebook every day. Like, how do we get them to understand? And maybe this is a question for everybody. Like, post it in the comments. What do you think? Like, how can we articulate this in a way that everybody can receive? It's going to be okay.
I think a part of it, just speaking from the perspective of you and I and what we're doing here with this podcast and beyond, by us continuing to show up and do what we do, there's going to be an audience that's built from it, and like turning that audience into a community, so that, because as human beings, we want to be a part of something, right? Like, we are tribal as human beings. Like, that transcends race, ethnicity, all of that. Like, we're tribal people. We want to be a part of something in general.
Everybody wants to root for a team.
Right.
Yeah.
So to that point, for us to grow this into the community that it will be, that creates the space for the person in the future that's skeptical and skeptical of their own abilities. And from that, like, putting them around like-minded people, because that's what the community will be. A bunch of like-minded folks that understand the assignment, which is discipline, consistency, resilience, regardless. Like, that's warrior ethos, right? Like, we create that type of ethos, and through it, we can take the person that may be a little bit skeptical and put them into a community that drowns out the fears that they have.
From people who did not hear what he said, he dropped probably the biggest nugget you could have dropped. We're trying to figure out an answer to teach people, right? This consistency will pay off. And there's nothing more important than what he said just now: getting in the right room. Getting in the right room, releasing yourself from rooms that'll hold you back. If you're in a room with a lot of people that don't believe it's going to work, it's not going to work. But if you put yourself in a community where everybody's fully understanding that it's going to work, it changes the entire mindset of what you get up and do every day. That was a magic nugget that should be put on repeat.
And trust me, we will do our role in having it on repeat through the content that we release. But again, that goes back to being intentional about what it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
Right. Like, this content piece, we're not sitting on this live for no reason.
And we know it's going to work. We know it's going to work. It's no question.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not because it's you, it's because the work goes in, it's going to work.
Right. Now, the one thing that I will caveat that with is a big piece of it is actually providing value. Yeah. Like, if you're just showing up just to show up, but you're not providing value, and you're just consuming,
selling,
right.
Yeah.
So truly providing value, bruh, like that matters. So, this thing don't happen overnight by any stretch of the imagination. And anybody that has actually built anything will tell you the same. Like, it doesn't happen.
They tell you it takes you 20 years to be an overnight success. 20 years to be an overnight success. I remember what happened for me. People, I'm like, if you think I'm successful, I'm like, I'm happy for you. Thank you very much. I never feel like I'm successful. I feel like I'm doing what I love to do, period. So it's taken over 25 years, right? This is this version of me. When you talk about making videos to put on the internet, right? You go back and look at the stuff I did in 18, didn't even look like the same person. Like, it's just garbage, and some of maybe is today, but like, the thing is the consistency to not worry about it. There's going to be people that want you to fail every day, and that does not matter.
100%. And when, to the point that you made there, when you recognize that whenever that someone recognizes that they're surrounded by negative energy, do something about that. Change your environment. Right? Like when I knew that I wanted to finally prioritize building my own digital authority, it was no question who I wanted to talk to about that, because I know that Ronnie has been taking it serious from the very first conversation that I had with him almost 2.5 years ago. So, I know that by continuing to put myself around Ronnie, the conversations that we have are going to challenge me outside of my comfort zone. And when I'm feeling the human emotions that we all feel, that the conversations that I'm having with you, Ronnie, are going to be the fuel to keep me going. But if I kept myself around people that are just like, bruh, that Facebook stuff is a waste of time, man. Like, it's just a bunch of ads. Whenever that I get on my feed, all I see is ads. I don't even see my friends no more. Like, it's just a waste of my time. I ain't doing none of that. God bless you. Do your thing. But you can't be around me because I have larger ambitions.
A practical application of that is like, so business owner may be watching this going, well, how do I do that? It's like, how do I get out of my circle? All right, here's one way. You can go to a conference. This is a true story. I went to the Patrick Bet-David Vault Conference, the first one they ever had in like 2018 or 19.
Did you go with Chris?
My brother, yeah, we went. Okay. Yeah, me and Chris went. So we went. So we also met the Barrero brothers there, which we're still friends today. Chris does a live with him like me and you do now. Dude, the Barrero brothers own like 300 doors in Brooklyn. Like they are, and Florida. Like he's massive. Like, but he gives his game away free. He does a live like this on Sundays, talks about real estate investing since 1989. I met him at the vault. I walk in the room, Jesse, and I'm talking to these people, and I'm sitting next to a guy. His name is Jose. And I was sitting there like, man, I'm trying to get past $3 million in revenue. I'm trying to figure this out, right? And he's like, yeah, man, I've been stuck at 31 million for the past year and a half, and I just need to break through. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, what? Who am I sitting by? And then we start talking, and then it's that stuff. The conversations are different, dude. I'm like, wow, this is mind blowing. So, and they're in there with their same struggles. They just got more zeros, and nobody's telling me that nothing's going to work and you should stop doing Facebook and whatever. Like, you've got to find a way to put yourself in a different room in order to get new information or help. Like, and those people want to help you. Like, it's crazy. That is a true story.
Right.
I take it. I'm telling you, it's true, man. It's me and Chris. We're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, and Chris, he spends 20 grand to go to a mastermind. 20 G. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm going to go learn from these people. I'm like, okay. And he's sitting up in the mastermind, and he learns stuff. This is multiple times a year that he does that. I listen to Papa John get interviewed by somebody. He pays for coaching, not 20 grand. We're talking millions of dollars because he wants to get better, right? Anyhow, I could go on and on and on.
No, that's real. And when you mentioned being in that room, my mind immediately went to what prevents folks from being in that room. And oftentimes it is that $20,000 price tag that you mentioned that Chris drops without even a thought. Like, it's not even a second thought for him. Like, he knows. Him a while to
learn that. Yeah, right, but like, I'm not there. I didn't drop 20 G, but like, he's there. He's like, this is the room I need to be in.
And that's the point that is so important. Like, that right there is $1 million nugget right there of, you gotta pay to be around some of these folks that they got a different mindset, but it's worth it. It is an investment that is well worth it when you go into it with intention, and when you come out of it with like a game plan that you then execute. Like
or new friendships. New friendship. That's what I mean by the Barreros. They're friends now. Like I can call them. Like they're cool. Oh, somebody just walked in my office, man.
All right.
Kind sir. From Pam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Blessings.
Blessings to you. Sorry about that, Jesse.
No worries. Yes. So it's vitally important that we not allow the price of admission to be the primary deterrent from experiencing, because like, so I went to, and I was telling you about InvestFest last year, which, you know, I'm gonna be in your ear about, you know, you considering it this year in August 7th through the 9th in Atlanta. Being in a room, not a room, like a stadium full of people that are entrepreneurial minded, investor minded. It's a different kind of experience, because when you're having the conversation with just the most randomest of individual, their perspective on what they're doing is different than the common person that you run across on a daily basis, because the average person on a daily basis is distracted by a bunch of stuff that don't matter. They don't have a drive for themselves. They're just existing in this world, just, you know, making it to the next day. And as long as they're able to do that, they are happy. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the value of being around someone that has a mindset of, how am I taking what I'm learning right now to apply it later on today or tomorrow?
Yeah, you know how you can.
It's a different. Go ahead.
Yeah, I learned this being at one of those conferences. I was sitting, dude. I was at the conference with some people from Israel. Like they had flown in from Israel just for the conference. There was another dude from Dubai. This kid was cool. He's like, man, Ronnie, you should be investing in real estate in Dubai. I was like, you talking to the wrong dude, man. But he's like, no. We can find something affordable for you. I was like, man, get out of here. Like, dude, we follow each other on Instagram. We were hanging out. But it got me thinking about it. I'm like, I could get some property in Dubai. Like, okay. I wouldn't learn that anywhere else. You know, I wouldn't learn it in my house. So one of the things I learned, I try to make it positive, right? Millionaires talk about ideas, strategy, and execution. So when you're at the table and you're at dinner, or you at the bar, or you wherever you're at, yo, man, what's going on? What's in your life? What's good? Like, it's ideas, strategy, execution. Billionaires, they say, talk about network. And I'm like, wow. So like, why does Bezos and Elon have spaceships that look the same? Because they're not talking? No, they're talking. They both got spaceships. Like, I'm like, wow. That's a room of like 5 people. Like, that's wow. But you know, if you're aspiring to be a millionaire, the conversation needs to be ideas, strategy, and execution. The broke mindset, guess what those conversations are about?
Other people.
So when you so how do you break out of the room, right? What I try to do on a daily is, when I find myself in a room where the conversations are just about other people, I remove myself from the room. I'm not perfect, you know. I mean, you're having conversations, but if it's continuously like that, it's going nowhere. It just gets old. But think about it. Like, if you're processing this for yourself and for your business, try to focus on ideas, strategy, and execution.
100%, bro.
If you're already a millionaire, then focus on network. Maybe you'll get to the billionaire status.
I was literally talking about this morning with a close friend of mine. The reason that I don't talk with a lot of people regularly is, unfortunately, a lot of people are like more comfortable with venting than solving problems.
I know.
The way that my mind works, I need to hear just enough of the problem for me to understand it. And then my mind immediately shifts to solutions. And I'm talking about solutions. So they still complaining about whatever they complaining about, and I'm already talking about solutions, and they want to keep talking about the complain part, and I'm talking about the solutions, and they looking at me funny, and I'm looking at them like, bruh, either we can move on to the next thing, or I'm getting ready to go because
Right.
I don't have time for this.
It gets painful. You know what, dude? 50 Cent. Like I posted some 50 Cent stuff this week. It was like, if they hate, let them hate. Watch the money pile up. Here's another 50 Cent-ism. If they're talking about money, homie, I ain't concerned. Everybody thinks that's some rapper thing. Like, oh, he just saying some rapper stuff. They're doing money. I'm like, no. If they're talking about money, homie, I ain't concerned. Like, why are we talking about old boy? I'm talking about stacks. Like, you start looking back, I'm like, that's what that rap lyric was about? Like, 50 Cent was having millionaire conversations 20 years ago. Now he's approaching that billionaire status. He just opened up Shreveport.
Yes.
He's at another level, and everybody thinks a different thing. It's like, nah, man, this guy's a mad business mind.
Right. So he is, between him and Jay-Z, like those are the two former artists, hip-hop artists. Yeah. And I mean, they still are, but that's not their primary thing by any stretch. Those are two entrepreneurs that, like, I got to get into the room with them before it's all said and done.
Love them or hate them, don't matter. You know, right. It's not political. It's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, Jay-Z's, his rap term was, what did he say? It's not a business. I'm a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
You know, like, he was talking about personal brand back to this podcast. I'm a businessman. If you go look at those, like, he was talking about that.
Right.
I'm a brand, like, period. That's Jay-Z.
I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man.
Right. That's the lyric right there. It's yes. You remember. Yeah. Like all these little nuggets they were dropping. It's like all he was saying to everybody listening, get on social media, post every day. You're a business man. Yeah, they do. Those two are legacy creators right there.
1,000%.
Have you read 50 Cent's book?
I started reading it. I didn't finish it.
It's good, man. You can listen to it. He orates it.
Yeah,
in the car it's Curtis. That's what made it made it really fun. Curtis was talking to me for like a week. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know this. I didn't know that. I was like, that's interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's real. It is real. So, you know, in summary for this portion of our conversation, it's a long road to build it, but it's worth the investment when you able
to worth the investment.
Right.
You are worth the investment.
That part.
You are worth hold on. You are worth the investment.
Bars.
It's actually the best investment you can make, right?
Yes.
In yourself.
Right.
Knowledge, output.
So this is the reality. Like, this is the reality. The way that the world is changing, the way that the economy is changing, for people that don't really provide value, it's going to get really difficult in the coming years. So,
I mean, they're going to go to basic income because, Jesse, TikTok shop, like everybody going to be, I haven't really gotten into that because I'm a little bit older, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not happening. Like people, like, have you asked somebody that? Where'd you get that? I bought it on TikTok shop. I'm like, damn, what's that? Like personal shopping. People are selling. They on there selling all day long, making millions of dollars. Like, and that's where it's going. We won't even like. You'll probably go to TikTok before Amazon at some point to get your whatever. It's fascinating.
I mean, but even that, you know, when we talk about how the supply chains have been disrupted around the globe, you know, it gets to a point where, you know, manufacturing, where things are manufactured at, are going to impact how we purchase those things. So like TikTok is the thing right now, as manufacturing comes back to the United States, the way that we purchase things are going to, you know, there's going to be evolutions that come along with that. So it's the point in that though is the world is changing. So when we're talking about, like, I don't think that there is any greater investment than to invest in self, because when I think about myself personally, the reason that I don't worry about being able to provide for myself is I have built up a skill set that even if it didn't work out entrepreneurially for me, I could go work for somebody else and be pulling in six figures easy, because I built a skill set. I've invested in myself, and that cannot be taken away from me. Like, I could build Bullseye Consulting and something terrible could happen in court where, things happen. I don't even like saying all of this stuff because I believe words matter. But just for the sake of this conversation, like, Bullseye Consulting could go away. What won't go away is what made Bullseye Consulting, which is me, because I've invested in myself. So, like, I don't know if there is a greater investment than for us to invest in ourselves, because once we have it, it can't be taken away from us without our lives being taken.
It's too bad that this is at the tail end of the podcast too, because that's a great point. Like, to people, like, I worked for this company for from 98 until 2007. I worked for the company from 98 to 2007. I don't know how many years that is. Sorry, I'm not that good at math. But the thing is, when I bought in 2007, that's when I became what you would call an entrepreneur, right? But the thing is, it's like, all of that time I had the dream, I was working towards it, and I was investing in myself to get better and better so that I could have options in my life, so that I could do something different with my life. And I think if you have a job right now, but you have a dream, they can both exist. And if you believe in yourself, invest in yourself. I didn't say leave your job. I'm like, go keep food on the table.
Right.
But you can still, the universe will test you. It'll test to see how much you really want it. I had to build up credit. I had to build up net worth. I had to build up banking. I had to learn all of these, like all the skills Jesse's talking about. I had to develop a lot of skills from 98 to 2007 before I became a business owner. I funded that dream by doing a good job and working my butt off, building the company for somebody else. And so when I broke away, it was an easier transition, but I always had the belief that I could do it. You may not have all the means right now, but what you do have access to is free Facebook and free Instagram and free TikTok right now. You could be posting every day consistently, building that dream. And those are just facts. They're hard to swallow. And I think it just comes down to, maybe the podcast soon should be like, how do you build up in belief in oneself? Now, how do you do that, right?
Man, yes. And I think that's what makes that challenging is because society conditions us to stay on the hamster wheel. In other words, in grade school, for the kid that learned different from everybody else, they got bullied, ridiculed, and then pulled out of the classes that everybody else was in and put in, other classes. And it's like, that in itself conditions a certain mindset of, oh man, like, I'm fighting to fit in. Like, I'm like actively fighting to fit in with what everybody else is doing, because the second that I'm outside of what everybody else is doing, I'm being abused by the system at large.
Or you were taught failure was bad. You didn't pass the test. You're a loser. You're going to end up in jail slinging rocks. Like, it's like, dude, I find that is very difficult to unwind inside of people's minds. It's like being in the matrix it's just reinforced that if you don't win this week, you're a failure. I'm like, nah, dude, you posted 15 times on Facebook and made no money. You won at a level higher than anybody in your circle right now. Quickest way to fix it is what he said earlier. Get your circle, get some cheerleaders. Like, if your friends are saying it's bad, go get some different friends, man. Like, you got to figure out some people who understand what we're saying and are actually willing to root for you. And it makes doing the work we're talking about a lot easier.
1000%. 1000%. So, quick closing topic: filler words in content. Like, bruh, I
Right here.
struggle. Yes, I struggle with that. And I didn't know how bad that I was at it until like I'm doing all of this content now. And then when I got to go back to edit it, and it's like, oh my fucking God, if I say one
Glad
more.
you're going through it. That's the only way you're gonna learn. It's called crutches. Mine used to be, I would say something, I go, or whatever the case may be. And then I look at the video, I'm like, I said that 15 times. It's like, so the power of the pause, like there's a guy that I follow on Instagram. I can't remember, his name is Gong something, but like this dude, he talks about the pause. The first thing he says is, when I pause, it gives you time to process what I just said. I'm like, oh man, that's fascinating. Yeah, the power of the pause, and it removes the filler words.
But what that materialized in is when I'm doing the edits, now I see all these pauses.
Oh my God. That's fine. The pauses are great because it makes the editing easier.
Right.
So if you like just let's say it out loud. If you are making content, the power of pausing makes editing easier. So it's different from me saying, hey, I want to talk about this car, and what we're going to go through is you can get an SUV, you can get this, or you can get this, versus, hey, I'm going to talk to you about what car would be right. It could be an SUV. It could be a car. It could also be a truck. Like, then you leave those little gaps so that when you go edit it, you can shrink it down or you can remove it or whatever. But if you have a one damn run-on sentence, you've been trying to edit that. I don't do that anymore. I always pause when I record myself, but now I'm like, oh man, you like your head's over here. Like, I'm like, oh my God, that is you can only learn that through pain. You can only learn that editing secret through the pain of trying to edit yourself. Dude, I would have to go scrap the whole video and start over. That's a painful place. Yeah, man, we can talk for hours about the pause. I'm not master of it. I'm working on it.
Me too. No, it is. But that's why I wanted to just kind of plug it in there before we wrapped, because that's one of those things that it's an ongoing thing, and I'm going to continue to bring it up because as our audience grows, that's a good reminder. That's a good constant reminder, because I think most of us suffer from it through varying degrees, and everybody's filler words are different. You know, like I tend to say like a lot, and so, and the ums, and it's just like, oh my God.
You'll get better. Like, you're better than you were week one. I mean, honestly, I'm probably better than I was week one. Like, right. You're aware of it now. And right. So now it's only going to get better. Like, before you know it, it's going to seem like CNN News. We're going to be like, yep, what's next? What's next, Jesse? What do you got for your next story? You're going to be like, well, I'm glad you tossed it to me, Ronnie. Today's news, we had this company going out of business, and what are the opportunities for all of our entrepreneurs in the city? Give it about 6 more weeks. It's going to be freaking off the chain.
That part.
Yeah, I mean, it might not sound like that. I will. I always sound like a nerd.
No.
But yo, check it out. That's another thing that I had to overcome, building digital content. I believe I sound like a nerd at all times. I just finally had to embrace it. Nerds winning. Let's go. You know, like, whatever. I'm never going to sound like 50 Cent or Jay-Z.
Bruh. So being from, because we both from Virginia, I'm from Hampton though. But my family grew up like from Philly. So in the summertime, I would go visit them, visit my family up in Philly. I spend the summers up there. And my cousins always told me I talk like a white boy.
Mine was a little bit more brutal. My mom would not allow me to use slang in the house. Like, so she was very hype on articulation. that's just the way it was.
Right.
But that being said, I hung out with all my redneck buddies. We would drink Budweiser and shoot guns and all that stuff and watch wrestling. And so when I go back to Virginia, I probably sound like I'm from the country, but that's home.
Right. Oh man, another incredible discussion, another episode in the can. And
Yep.
for those of you who are joining us for the first time or continuing with us on this throughout this process, you could be anywhere else in the world, but you are here with us, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
This has been the Authority Hour. Thank you for listening.
I'll see you soon.